Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight on our news.
The Centerville MP explains why he's decided not to take legal action against the Prime Minister.
Marijuana, cell phones, and even portable chargers among the items seized by police at the Bahamas Department of Corrections this morning.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm KRISTINA DRAGOVICH. Topping news tonight, heavily armed officers stormed every prison block of the Department of Corrections overnight in search of contraband smuggled into the Fox Hill facility. Authorities say the raid is part of a major operation called Suppressing Incarcerated Prisoners. This as the prison's deputy commissioner admits there is corruption in the Department of Corrections. WALKINE has the details.
Police still aren't sure exactly how these items made it behind the prison walls, but according to Assistant Commissioner of Police CLAYTON FERNANDER, an investigation has been launched into just how even those living in maximum security got their hands on them.
You can't be incarcerated and be able to be in touch with the world.
Prisoners caught with marijuana, the latest smartphones and portable chargers. Just some of the items seized as police and defense force officers conducted Operation SIP at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. This morning's raid also resulted in the confiscation of toothbrushes with the end sharpened, shards of glass concealed in bars of soap, earphones, scissors, and a cell phone sitting on the cutout pages of a motivational book. Ironically, the device rested on a chapter titled, "How Can I Make the Most of the Rest of My Life?" Assistant Commissioner of Police CLAYTON FERNANDER calling it creativity at its finest.
It was cut in the middle and it just sat right in there. And if you didn't search it properly, you will have missed it. You will just say it's a book. And also you would have seen wires they use for charging in the ceiling where the light fixtures is. They were able to connect a wire to the wires from that to be able to charge their cell phones.
All this in response to a video that went viral of prisoners who appeared to be enjoying themselves while incarcerated. But the operation that lasted from 10 Tuesday night to 6 Wednesday morning is only a small part of a bigger problem, according to Deputy Commissioner at the Bahamas Department of Corrections, Bernadette THOMPSON-MURRAY, who asserted there is corruption among prison officers.
Well, basically, unlike any organization, there is some form of corruption. So that is one aspect of items getting in there. And further, if officers do not do the normal searching as they should, things will enter.
This admission once again bringing into question the vetting and training of prison officers.
Bear in mind that you have persons that they meet the necessary qualifications of what passed the vetting. Sometimes these things don't happen where the person may not have any record or have any matters being known to the police. So upon being employed, things happen.
According to Marie, this was the first time for the year that a search of every cell in the prison was carried out. She said officials conducted a search on Tuesday, but on a much smaller scale. Now an investigation has been launched into exactly how these prisoners got access to contraband.
Based on what we get as we move with the investigation, there's a lot of inquiries we have to do to complete, and we will move forward where necessary. Where the evidence lay, we will deal with it.
For our news, I'm WALKINE.
In other news, 2 weeks after announcing he was considering taking legal action against Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, Centerville Member of Parliament REECE CHIPMAN has changed his tune. CHIPMAN now says he has decided against suing Minnis, whom he previously accused of crossing the line while discussing CHIPMAN's dismissal as chairman of the Antiquities, Monuments and Museums Corporation. Jasmine Brown reports.
CHIPMAN says his decision to no longer take legal action against the Prime Minister came after a lot of consideration.
I have decided not to proceed.
CHIPMAN was sacked as AMMC chairman on March 24th after defying the Prime Minister's order to tender his resignation. The firing came mere weeks before CHIPMAN's stint as AMMC chairman was to expire. Minnis had refused to explain to the media why he fired CHIPMAN, but had said his conscience was clear and that the F&M made a commitment to root out corruption. In response to Minnis' comments, CHIPMAN said his attorney was examining grounds for a defamation lawsuit. But today, the F&M MP told reporters he has decided against that course of action because it would be a distraction from bigger issues facing the country.
I believe that we have some more pressing issues that need to be taken care of, especially in the Centerville constituency, as well as just nationally as well.
Chipman said his change of heart came after consultation with his attorney, but quickly added that he still thinks the Prime Minister should make public the details of his firing. The Centerville MP says he has not spoken with Minnis since he was fired, but expects to maintain a good relationship with the party leader moving forward.
There was no direct communication since then. We've had parliamentary meetings, and the communication with regards, I guess, all that has transpired, you know, it's satisfactory and progressive.
As for rumblings that he has considered crossing the floor, Chipman says there is no truth to those claims.
The Free National Movement is my party. It is where my engine was born, and so, you know, that's not moving away from the FNM is not an option for me.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
And Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest is demanding opposition leader Philip Davis apologize for comments he claims have damaged the reputations of the Central Bank of the Bahamas and Department of Statistics.
The member for Cat Island, Rum Key, and San Salvador will do the right thing and apologize to the institutions whose reputations and integrity he has willfully sought to put into question.
The finance minister's comments follow a heated exchange between the pair on the state of the country's finances. Over the weekend, Davis accused Turnquest of being the worst minister of finance because of his incompetence, ineptness, and actions. The opposition leader also claimed that the way the Department of Statistics calculates its data and the way in which the Ministry of Finance accounts for its disbursements and receipts is in the name of politics. Turnquest called the statements unfortunate and ill-informed.
On behalf of the government, I can say without reservation that this administration has not and will not ever seek to interject any political interference into the operations of the central bank.
Charging that Davis's criticism should be more constructive, the DPM also defended the two entities.
Those two institutions are hallmarks that underpin the data that we present internationally, and we must protect them, Mr. Speaker. They must be above politics.
While extortion charges are being dropped against former Progressive Liberal Party Cabinet Minister Kenred Dorset. We're told the prosecution's plan is to focus on the strongest charges instead of trying two sets of offenses on the same facts. Dorset's attorney, Damien Gomez, says he's not surprised and opined that the remaining charges will either be dropped or the government will lose the case. Dorset was charged with bribery, extortion, and misconduct in public office last summer. Prosecutors allege that Dorset, while acting in his capacity as a public officer, demanded a total of $120,000 from Jonathan Ash on 4 separate occasions between March 1, 2017 and May 9, 2017. Chanting "Three Blind Mice," dozens of downtown straw vendors protested in Rawson Square this morning as members of Parliament entered the House of Assembly. Vendors called on Works Minister Desmond Bannister to intervene after hundreds of stalls were shut down for non-payment. Gillian Gray has that.
Standing just a few feet away from the House of Assembly and armed with picket signs, straw vendors protested what they say are gross injustices.
Why are we here? The estimated 175% stalls that were closed, we want them returned to the market.
We asked them for lighting out at the Cable Bistro market. There is no lighting in the back. The market closed at 8 o'clock. Sometimes we out there trying to make a hustle from 7 until 8 o'clock at night.
My house leaking, I'm making the money to the stall. If I had to eat from there, I die. And you can see I fat as a pig. Glory to God.
Though poor lighting and ventilation are major concerns for downtown straw market vendors, it was the government's decision to shut down more than 200 stalls due to non-payment that prompted vendors to protest in Rawson Square.
My bill is $893. I went up there, I borrow, I beg, and I scrap $600, and I take it up to the office, and they told me they could not open up my stall, and that was more than half of what I owe. Then they have people there, what I know, owe thousands of dollars and they still to the shop.
Do you think it's favoritism?
Of course, it is pure favoritism.
The point is, vendors are taking rent, like the other lady say, borrowing, begging to try and make ends meet. A lot of the senior vendors are paying their shops with their pension because business are not in there. They have all the foreigners all around us. All around us. They don't care about the vendors.
The minister directly told me that if the vendors can't pay their rent, they would have to leave because they have a whole list of people waiting to come in.
Waiting to get in.
Minister Desmond Bannister.
When contacted for comment, Minister of Works Desmond Bannister said he was rather disappointed to see a number of political operatives in the midst of the protesting vendors. He said the board has been very lenient with the vendors who were in arrears and said those who have not honored their agreements should bring them current. However, these vendors say they will continue to fight for change as the entire process has been unfair.
Those stores that were closed on the 30th, okay, they claim, say, we give you all another 5 days grace. But here's what you have to do. You have to bring your account to zero. Persons went and paid their account to zero. You know what they tell them? Come back 2 days later, we can open the shops.
Miss Fendi tell me she is not giving me a stall. I tell her the devil is a liar. I told her as long as I pay this bill, I entitled to a stall because I am a straw vendor all my life. And the market is all I know. And now I'm working for somebody, and when I pay that bill, I want my stall.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jillian Gray.
Police are investigating death threats made against Speaker of the House of Assembly Halson Moultrie. Assistant Commissioner of Police Paul Roll confirmed that police met with Moultrie last week to discuss the threats and are investigating the matter. When contacted for comment, Moultrie said he received the threats on April 3rd. The threats were made in letters dated between December 21st, 2017 and March 9th, 2018. Moultrie said, understanding the nature of society, it didn't surprise him at all, but he asserted he is not governed by the spirit of fear. And Bahamas Power and Light confirming that Shell, NA and affiliates has been awarded the contract to build a new generation and liquefied natural gas plant at Clifton Pier. Shell has headquarters in the Netherlands and is operational in Texas. BPL said in a statement that 19 companies passed the vetting process, but Shell NA provided the best solution for BPL's new direction and commitment to renewable energy. International firm Sancon Contracting Limited was hired to lead a comprehensive assessment of the 19 bids. Shell NA has proposed an integrated gas-to-power solution. The LNG project is scheduled for completion in 2021. Still to come on our news, government one step closer to a land registry, plus more on the Prime Minister's upcoming trip to Peru. That and more when our news returns.